Hi, everyone. It's Andrew Fazakis, the Night Sky Guy here. Very exciting news potentially. We've got coverage, live coverage coming up of the landing, the attempted landing by the Japanese robotic mission. And it's supposed to be landing very soon. I'm just watching right now. The HAKUTO-R spacecraft will be the first private firm mission from a private company to land on the moon. Only Russia, China, and the United States have successfully done this. So they join a very elite club of landers. But the first private firm to do so would be a big deal. And it should be happening very soon. We're going to kind of jump into the live stream right now and see what's going on. I think there's a lot of congratulations going on, things like that. So we're just going to see what they're saying.
Board a rover made in Luxembourg.
They're just describing the rover, a small little tennis-sized rover that's also aboard. So very interesting.
ArianeGroup provides the key element of the propulsion system for the lander and the assembly and integration facilities. Our orbital propulsion teams supported iSpace with the integration and the testing of the entire vehicle in our clean rooms in Lampolshausen, as well as in external facilities in Germany. In addition, iSpace and ArianeGroup have teamed up under an ESA commercial partnership pilot phase to provide Europe with an integrated transportation system to the moon, combining the Ariane 6 launcher and the iSpace lander. With this M1 mission, iSpace has become the first commercial company to reach lunar orbit. The landing attempt will mark first use of an ArianeGroup propulsion system for landing on the moon. Regardless of the outcome, the iSpace M1 mission is a huge accomplishment. This is a striking example of synergistic collaboration between what some would call an established space company and new space companies. iSpace is a very dynamic and innovative new space company. We appreciate their trust and their agile and efficient ways of working with us. This demonstrates ArianeGroup's ability to provide state-of-the-art equipment and support to new space companies. Good luck for the landing.
Three, two, one, ignition.
Hello and welcome to our global live stream of the planned lunar landing of Mission 1 in iSpace HAKUTO-R program. The main language of this event is English, but you can watch and listen with simultaneous Japanese translation by accessing the stream on our HAKUTO-R channel. My name is Kevin Zaleski and I am the MC for today's event. Thank you very much for joining us. Many of you may have followed the launch of Mission 1 last December. Now, after several months of operations in space, our Series 1 lander is quickly approaching one of the most exciting moments during Mission 1 in our HAKUTO-R program, the first ever private lunar landing. For those of you not familiar with us, iSpace is a global lunar exploration company engaging in the lunar quest. Our vision is to expand human activity into space and to develop the future cislunar economy by offering reliable payload delivery and data services. iSpace has 3 offices, its headquarters in Japan, as well as steadily growing offices in the US and Luxembourg. Our first commercial lunar exploration program consists of 2 missions: a planned lunar landing on Mission 1 and lunar landing and surface exploration on Mission 2. With Mission 1 in progress as we speak, we have already started preparations, such as testing, for Mission 2, currently planned for 2024. Furthermore, iSpace is rapidly progressing development for Mission 3, currently planned for 2025, which will not only use our next-generation Series 2 lander, but will also deliver payloads for the NASA CLIPS program to lunar orbit and surface. iSpace is a member of Team Draper and proud to contribute to the Artemis program during its upcoming Mission 3. Today, we are following the progress of our mission from a venue close to the HAKUTO-R Mission Control Center. We are here at the Neo Tsukide Kurasten exhibition at the National Museum of Emerging Science and Innovation on Odaiba, Tokyo. As you can see, we are surrounded by a moon-themed landscape, including a full-scale model of our Series 1 lander. So you can imagine that everyone is super excited to land on the real moon today. Our Series 1 lander on Mission 1 is being monitored from the HAKUTO-R Mission Control Center, or MCC, during its descent towards the lunar surface. As you can see in this live feed, our team is getting ready for landing. Now, before we continue with our coverage here on location, let us first hear from our MCC crew about what exactly we expect to happen during the next approximately 50 minutes.
Hi everyone, we are the iSpace operation team and we are here today in the HAKUTO-R MCC Mission Control Center to execute a really special operation. So we have worked so hard to get to this point in which we are going to perform the landing sequence. We are more than 20 engineers getting ready, preparing and executing these special operations, and you are going to be able to follow from home. You are going to have a special animation based in our data in which you will be able to follow the whole landing sequence. For us, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, and Janelle is going to explain why.
The reason why it's a little more difficult for us is because, one, all we can do during this time is monitor the lander because the landing sequence is actually autonomous. So another reason why it's going to be a little difficult is because during the landing sequence, we are going to experience something called an occultation. Now, an occultation is something that occurs when the moon is between the lander and our ground station on Earth. So during our landing sequence, you can see our lander is going to come behind the moon like so, and for about 40 minutes, we're going to lose communication with it. And then, only until we pop out the other side will we have communication again and be able to see our lander autonomously land on the moon.
As we heard from Janelle earlier, the lander is expected to have already performed its deorbit insertion maneuver autonomously. As you can see on our live status display here, our lander is now on the moon's far side and heading for its designated landing area. We expect to reestablish communication in approximately 30 minutes. Now, I would like to give the word to iSpace founder and CEO Takeshi Hakamada.
Hello, my name is Takeshi Hakamada, founder CEO of iSpace. In 2010, a small company with a big vision was born. And then after 13 years and meeting many colleagues and supporters, we have reached to the day when our lander will land on the moon. In the early days, not many people believed that we could actually land on the moon, but we kept believing and worked very hard, and then as a result, I'm really proud to be here with you today. Since our Mission 1 launch in December last year, our lander and our team have already achieved amazing things, succeeding operation of privately funded and then developed hardware and the software and the payload in space for over 100 days. Now we are getting close to our destination for Mission 1, lunar landing and surface operation. However, I want to emphasize again that our accomplishment, 8 out of 10 milestone successes, will contribute toward the development of our next missions, Mission 2 and Mission 3, which already have started in parallel. I want to thank everyone for their contributions. And I really excited to see the outcome of this critical moment of Mission 1. And I cannot wait to apply everything we have been learned toward our future missions. Everything we have achieved until this point, we already considered tremendous success. Thank you, and let's land on the moon.
Thank you, Hakamada-san. We're very excited to give you a closer look at the status of our lander and what we expect to happen today. But first, let us hear from iSpace CTO Ryo Ujie for details about our achievements during Mission 1 so far and what we hope to achieve today.
So Ujie-san, can you tell us a little bit about the Mission 1 milestones?
Okay, yeah, sure. And as you know, in total we have 10 success milestones, but we have already completed 8 of 10 milestones. Then let me explain our achievement one by one. Then our first milestone, success 1, is the completion of launch preparation. Because even before launch, we had to do a lot of things, including testing, assembly, integration, and so on. That was also really great achievement for us. And then after that, success 2 happened. That is like a separation from a launch vehicle. Because during the launch operation, the lander needed to withstand really harsh mechanical condition. Then success 3 came. Success 3 is the completion of initial critical operation. That was a really critical moment for us. But finally, we established really stable communication, attitude, and power condition of the lander. Then after that, in order to fly to the moon, we need to control our the trajectory, lander trajectory. Then we carried out the first orbital control maneuver. Then we achieved success 4. Then after 1 month steady flight operation, success 5 came, and then we kept operating a few more orbital control maneuver. Then when we were ready for the first lunar orbit insertion maneuver. That is a success 6, and then success 7 is the moment to enter the lunar gravity region. Then the lander carried out really long burn to enter the gravity region. Then that was also really critical operation, but we successfully completed that operation too. Even during the lunar orbiting phase, we carried out a few more orbital control maneuvers, and then now we are ready for the landing sequence. Then now we are in success 8. Then we will move on success 9. Success 9 is the completion of our landing sequence. Landing sequence itself is just 1 hour, but most critical moment in our mission. Then if we successfully land on the moon and then establish the steady communication and power status, finally we deployed our customer rover and then complete success 10.
Okay, so there are 10 milestones. Do you think you could tell us a little bit more about some of the critical moments that you experienced?
Okay, definitely the success 3. Then successfully is the completion of initial critical operation. In general, of course, this is the really critical moment for all spacecraft. But even in our case, we were struggling with the completion of this success milestone because communication and attitude were not as our plan. But our flight team showed really great performance, and then finally we achieved this moment. And then this success gave us more confident in our flight capability.
So you mentioned several times about maneuvers. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Okay, yes. The maneuver means orbital control maneuver. When we carry out the orbital control maneuver, we always use this our main propulsion system. Then by carrying out this orbital control maneuver, we can control the trajectory of the lander. Then even when we enter the lunar gravity region, we also need to carry out really long orbital control maneuver operation. It is a more than 7 minutes burn. Burn means we need to keep activating this propulsion system more than the 7 minutes. Then that was a really critical operation, and then we were really nervous about that. Then this is also great achievement to carry out this type of really critical operation as a commercial space startup. Then this Success 7, the achievement was a really great moment for us. Yeah.
So there are actually quite a few milestones. Why did you choose to set 10?
Okay, yeah, because our mission is not zero-sum game. In each steps, we can learn a lot of things. We can gain a lot of experience, knowledge, and we can also prove our flight capability in each step. Then we set a 10 milestone. And in each milestone, we have experienced different, operation, and we proved different capability. Then we set a 10 milestone, and then to show our capability. And then based on this milestone, we can reflect our lessons learned into the future mission too.
Thank you, Ujie-san. Now we welcome Yoshitsugu Hitachi, our lead lander system engineer, who oversees the overall integration of our lander system and payloads. Welcome back, Hitachi-san.
Thank you, Kevin.
So, our CTO Ujie-san just told us that we have achieved milestone 8 already. Looking at our status display, where do you think we are now with our lander?
Yes, Kevin. So, as our CTO Ujie-san just explained, so we have completed all the milestones up to Success 8, which means that we are ready for the landing sequence. That means we are now moving towards Success 9, which is lunar landing. So as you can see, the lander is now currently on the backside of the moon and waiting for it to re-establish the communication with the ground station and reappear from the backside of the moon to finally land on the sun side of the moon now.
Thank you, Hitachi-san. And with the planned lunar landing approaching quickly, let us have a look at a summary of today's expected events.
We're going to the moon, and we're just getting started. After 100 days of deep space cruise, the Series 1 lander arrived in lunar orbit. The successful completion of this long voyage not only validates the Series 1 lunar lander design, it represents the completion of a series of successes for iSpace, the verification of our communication technology, structural design, software, maneuver operations, and others, all while having overcome unexpected issues and hurdles along the way. After completing a series of orbital control maneuvers, the lander is scheduled to initiate its automated landing sequence from lunar orbit. Throughout this phase, the lander continues to orbit the moon while approaching its designated landing area. Other than the primary landing location in Atlas Crater, 3 alternative sites can be targeted in case that any anomalies or other unexpected events prevent the start of the landing sequence for the primary candidate site. In that case, additional orbits are performed to align the lander's trajectory with the new target sites, and to allow for optimal use of lunar daytime after landing. During the landing sequence, the lander performs a series of automated actions. Approximately 1 hour before planned touchdown, the lander begins the deorbit insertion phase, firing its thruster to reduce its parallel altitude from approximately 100 kilometers to 25 kilometers. Continuing on its orbit, the lander moves to the far side of the moon, losing direct line of sight and communication with ground station. Approximately 45 minutes later, the lander reappears from behind the moon and begins its braking burn to slow down its descent. Onboard instruments are used to determine the distance from the lunar surface. The lander utilizes a power descent control algorithm developed by Draper Laboratories, using proprietary guidance, navigation, and control software, drawing from years of experience dating back to the Apollo program. In the final moments before landing, the lander relies on its assist thrusters to perform a soft touchdown. Attempting a lunar landing brings many challenges. This is truly a daring endeavor. The impact of landing is mitigated by a shock absorption system inside the landing gear. After landing, the lander performs initial checkout activities to confirm the integrity of its systems. Simultaneously, stable power delivery to all systems is resumed, and electricity is generated via the surface-mounted solar arrays. A high-gain antenna will be used when attempting to establish communications with ground station. Next, the deployment and operation of payloads begins, such as the UAE's Rashid rover as part of the Emirates Lunar Mission, a transformable lunar robot for the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, experimental devices such as solid-state batteries by Nutera, and multiple payloads within the Canadian Space Agency's LEAP program. On Mission 1, surface operations are expected to last approximately 10 days, effectively using lunar daytime for the lander and its payloads to perform various tasks. Among others, and representing the first such transaction of its kind, ownership of lunar regolith is planned to be captured by the iSpace Series 1 lander during landing, and will be transferred to NASA as part of the Artemis program. As the first mission of the Series 1 lander, data collected during the entire mission duration will contribute towards future developments, and will help to improve the performance and reliability of iSpace's hardware during its next missions. Mission 2 is currently planned for 2024, and testing has already begun, with several customers already standing by to have their payloads transported to the moon. Planned for 2025, Mission 3 will be utilized for the fulfillment of NASA CLPS task orders as a member of Team Draper. Preparations are underway and are progressing rapidly. We're aiming to perform the world's first lunar landing by a commercial enterprise. This is the beginning of our vision to create a cislunar economy. iSpace is in it for the long ride, and we're just getting started. Never quit the lunar quest.
Now, as explained during the video, our Series 1 lander continues to orbit the moon while getting closer and closer to the surface. There is no communication link with the lander for a large portion of this process, but the required actions are pre-scheduled and the lander executes them according to our calculations. Let us hear a bit more about what exactly we expect to happen until planned touchdown, again from Hitachi-san. So Hitachi-san, tell us a bit about the expected initial status of our lander before landing.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kevin. I'm pleasure to be here to explain all the sequences of the landing. So basically, we do have 6 different phases, as I think the animation showed previously. So all those phases are very important to achieve the successful landing. So as you can see, the first step, what we're calling phase 1, this is deorbit insertion. So deorbit insertion is short burn of our main engine to deorbit from deorbit the circular lunar orbit and enters into a new trajectory for the landing. So in this phase, we are still the lander is at the very high speed, about 6,000 kilometers per hour, and then do less than a minute of main propulsion